Morning, Harvey.
Good morning, Erwin. How are you?
Baruch Hashem and you.
Can't complain.
Good.
Let's see. Oh, there you are.
You can complain, but the line I heard is it only pays to complain to somebody who could do something about it. Otherwise, it's not complaining, it's bitching.
And the worst thing you can do right now is say to someone, "So what's doing?" Like, "You serious? Give me a break." What's doing? This week consists of 2 days, Shabbos and the day before. That's it.
Yep. Yeah. That's it. Well, my kids say we have Shabbos, and then you got Sunday.
Oh, same thing. Okay.
Same thing. You know, and if they're working so many days a week, it's just crazy. But anyway.
Well,
How the kids doing? Kids doing well?
As far as I know, it just is bored. You know, Chicago is hanging in there.
Yeah.
Now they're getting, the mayor there is getting all touched, and she's going to start arresting people now for breaking the law.
Oh.
You know, they all jump on the bandwagon.
They don't do it the rest of the year. Why should they start now? I mean, that place is wild. Oh.
Where are we at? The 58? I don't know. Is he going to go back to 57? I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll wait till he says where he is. He doesn't know. I don't. Where I think it is and where you think it is doesn't always jive. So whatever he says is fine. But Rabbi Weiss is doing it on Zoom at 7:30 at night. So I'm always debate whether I should do it then.
No.
No, this is better. Get it done in the morning, get it out of the way, and then.
Kevin does it at night also.
Well, when I was working, I did it at night. I went,
right.
You know, but.
This Torah ore that's on there now on the screen. That is not the rabbi. I think that's Fisher's. That's not him. I don't think he transfers the host to the rabbi after he comes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that now. I found that out already. Since we ran a board of directors meeting on Zoom already.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, you do a lot of things. You can block people individually, put them on individually.
Uh-huh.
Or you could say goodbye and delete them.
But you know, they have something called Zoom bombing.
Zoom who?
Zoom bombing. They bomb you. If you don't like what the meeting is about, somehow you get everybody to call in and overload the system or something, and
man, give me a break. Right away, there's always someone who has figured out the negative use.
Zoom bombing. No, but especially when they see Jewish organizations having a meeting, a lot of anti-Semites.
Yeah, but there's a way around that by once you start your meeting, like say he starts the daf.
Yeah.
He can literally, as host, lock out anyone else.
Yeah, but if you're late to the meeting,
Well, that goes along with the same theory of don't come late. Yeah. See, it's 8:16 and he's late already. I would have locked it on.
Good morning.
Good morning, Robert. Oh, here we go. And Ted Spars. Oh, Ted Spars up bright and early this morning, folks. What's the matter, Ted? No, you don't have your microphone on. Can't hear what you're saying. All right, he doesn't want to talk.
How's that? Better?
Oh, is that you? Oh, there he is. There's his voice.
That's me. Where are we?
Where are we? We're waiting for the Magachia to show up.
We're in Century Village.
We're
We're in
Thank
Century Village, right?
The 72
What do you-
volumes of this place.
Who do you think I am, Biden? I don't know where I am.
Oh.
I don't watch the groceries.
You,
I mean,
you
if
be
we go
helpful.
to the store, we wear gloves, but, we don't watch the.
All right, there was a police car out by you last night?
Not that I noticed.
Yeah.
Not me. I was inside the house.
I
Where it
heard,
goes on outside, I don't even notice.
yeah, there was somebody outside your area there, but they seem to just be, and he left.
By you also?
No, down by
No.
you.
Oh.
He just said everything, he was just saying, everything okay? Okay, and then he drove away.
My nails are still growing out.
Oh, the guy was sleeping, probably. He's resting. What time was this?
11.
11
It's
o'clock.
not my
11 o'clock.
fault.
You were up that late?
And when they open, I'm not having my nails done. That's the least of my problem. I need my hair dyed.
Who's leading
And I
this?
did grab a haircut. It didn't come out so good, so I can't trust him to dye it.
Okay, that's not Cheryl, I know that.
I can't see. I need somebody to do it.
There's two
It's neither one.
So that's the only thing that and I guess I'll be great for a little while. Even when they open things up, I won't.
Paula.
What? Sounds like Paula Bromberg in the
Yeah,
background.
that's Paula Bromberg.
That cured it.
I don't know if I let it grow out. I look a lot older if I let it grow out. But,
Hey, Bob? If we can't hear
I
you.
better shut off the microphone.
Oh, it's off. Now it's off.
Harvey and Rabbi Green isn't there yet. Harvey didn't shut you off, did they?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Let's see.
I think we narrowed it down.
Here he is. All right, he's here. Coming in at the bottom. Eventually. he's gotta find-
Where we started?
Well, we gotta wait till Rabbi Green comes on. Here we go. There he is.
Hello there. Okay.
All right. Everyone can, so once we find out where we're going, so we'll be okay.
Morning, Rabbi.
He doesn't have a microphone. Rabbi, you didn't put your microphone on at
Good
all.
morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Now
Yeah,
we
we can hear you now.
Okay, just having problems getting on. Again, I'll have to check with Larry what the situation is. I had that somebody else was still ongoing.
Yeah, Larry came on bright and early, and they used to run at the top. It says Torah all by itself. This top right-hand corner
Yeah,
on the screen, and that's what
Okay.
locks you out.
Where are we
Okay.
starting? Where are we starting?
okay, that's a good question, Ted. All right. I'd like us to start I don't know if everybody got a chance to do all of Nun Zion, all
Yep.
right? But I'm going to start
Well,
about 3/4 of the way down the Amud on Nun Zion Amud Beis, all right? It's Velo B'Kibul is where I'm going to start, not with a kind of kibul, which could be considered, let's say, some sort of a hairnet or a wool cap, okay, something like that, right? So that's where we're going to start this morning, and we'll move as fast as much as we can cover, right? So he says, "V'lo b'kibul," these were one of the things the woman could not wear going out. Amar Rabbi Yana, he says, Rabbi Yana, kibul ze eni yodea mahu. I don't know what a kibul is, implying, of course, that by the time of the Amoraim, certain women's styles had already changed from the time of the Mishnah. I kavla da avda, if it's more like a chain, okay, or a necklace around the neck of a servant, tnan, if that's what's being taught. Aval kippah shel tzemer, but if it's more like a woolen cap, shapir dami, then that should be fine. Odilma, or perhaps kippah shel tzemer tnan, or maybe we're talking something more like a woolen cap. V'kol shekain kivla da avda, and certainly she can't go out wearing like a chain around the neck, a metal choker, let's say, like a servant. Right? Amar Rabbi Abahu, Mistabra kemanda amar kippah shel tzemer tnan. It seems logical to say that they were wearing more like, referring more to like a woolen cap, right? V'tanya nami hachi, and we have a braita that teaches yotz'a isha b'kibul, if she goes out wearing this woolen cap, this kibul, ubeistama, and also some sort of a clasp, okay, or a, others want to explain it, a wreath, all right, in her hair, lechatzer, in the courtyard. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar omer, af b'kibul reshut harabim. And Rabbi Shimon says she can even wear the kibul into the public domain. Wow, says the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, right? Kol shehu lemata min hashivcha, okay, anything that is below the net, okay, think of hair nets, okay, that we see sometimes even today, people in certain professions have to wear. Yotz inbo, she can go out. Kol shehu lemala min hashivcha. But if it's on top of the hairnet, in other words, designs hanging from it, right? Ein yotz inbo, she cannot go out with it. So the Gemara then says, Umai istama. So what is this clasp, this kind of hair clasp? Another shot says that it was more like a wreath that had ribbons or things like that hanging down from it, and that helped prevent flies from alighting on a person's body or face. Amar Rabbi Abahu, says Rabbi Abahu, bizyone. He says it's something to tie up the something. My bizyone, what do we mean by that? Amar Abai, Amar Rav Kalia Peruche. Says Rav, okay, it's something to, as I said, keep the flies away, all right? Or to tie up flying hairs, okay? Loose hairs. That's why I said some wanted to call it a barrette or a hair clasp. Tanu Rabbanan, says the Gemara, now citing a Braita, Shlosha Dvarim Ne'emru Be'istama. There were 3 principles, says the Braita, regarding this hair clasp or this barrette. Ein ba mishum klayim. Number 1, that he says it's not subject to a concern about mixed items, like clothes could be linen and wool. That's not the case here. In other words, second, ve'ein metama b'negaim, Okay, a second one, that is not subject to the possibility of leprosy. In other words, if spots were to appear on this hair clasp, we would not consider it subject to the laws of leprosy. Ve'ein yotzin ba l'reshut harabim. And third, that one cannot go out wearing it in the public domain. Now, Mishum Rabbi Shimon, based, however, Rabbi Shimon says, another example, Amru, he said, okay, the following, Af, as we go on to Nun Chet, today's Daf, Ein ba mishum atarot kalot. It's also not subject to the prohibition of being worn as kind of like a bridal event, right? We might think that because of the destruction of the temple, something like that would be prohibited. Nevertheless, that's not the case, right? We're now on the top of Nun Chet, today's Amud. Shmuel Amar, Kivla da'avdatna. Shmuel says, no, it's more like something that a slave goes out with something around its neck, okay? More like a collar or a chain almost. Umi Amar Shmuel Hachi, and did Shmuel really say this? V'ha'amar Shmuel, and didn't Shmuel say, Yotzei ha'eved b'chotem shebetzavaro, that a slave may go out wearing the seal, okay? Some sort of a symbol that's around his neck. In other words, think of something that somebody would wear a loose chain and have something hanging from it. I used to see on police shows, sometimes they would show the badge hanging from a chain around the neck, okay? Avalo bechotem shebeksuto, but not with the seal on their garment. Lo kasha, that's not necessarily a problem. Ha, the avad le rabbe. In one case, it was made by his master. Ha, the avad ihu lenafshe. In another case, he made it himself. In other words, the concern is that perhaps the slave would remove it in public, and since the slave is chayav the same mitzvot as a woman, which means observing Shabbat, okay, he cannot carry it in public. B'mai okimta laha de Shmuel, and how do we interpret this and identify it with Shmuel? The avad le rabbe, okay, that he said it was when it was master made it. Bechotem shebeksuto amaylo. If that's the case, if the master made it, even if the seal is on the garment, why is that? Why is he not permitted to go out in public with that? Dilma mifsak, because perhaps it might break off. Umirtat, and the slave would be afraid. Umikpal le, he would fold over the garment, right? Umichat le akatfe, and he would sort of place it over his shoulders, right? Kidarav Yitzchak Bar Yosef, as suggested by Rav Yitzchak Bar Yosef. The Amar Rav Yitzchak Bar Yosef, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Hayotze betalit mekupelet, one who goes out with a folded cloak, umunachet lo al ktefav, and it's lying on his shoulders, b'Shabbat, in the Rishus Harabim on Shabbos, chayav chatatz. He is chayav a chatas offering. V'chi ha, the Amar Rab le Shmuel, the Rav Chinana bar Shila. But what about that which was said by Shmuel to Rav Chinana bar Shila? Kulhu Rabbanan debe reish galuta. He says all of that is similar as the rabbis who are part of the reish galuta's entourage. Lo lifku b'sarvile chatime. Okay, that they're not supposed to go out with sealed cloaks. Lavar minach, with the exception of you, Rav Chinana bar Shila. Okay, why is that the case? Delo kapte alayich the Bei Reish Galuta. Why? Because the household of the Reish Galuta is not stringent with him. They're not particular in regards to his behavior. Okay. So there, some was in the retinue of the ex-flock wore this badge to show off, but he didn't wear this. And so also people were, if it fell off, he would know not to pick it up and carry it. Now, let's come back to discuss this in more detail. Gufa, back to the text. Amar Shmuel says Shmuel, Yotzei ha'eved b'chotem shebetzavaro. According to Shmuel, a servant can go out with this slave seal around his neck, aval lo b'chotem shebeksuto, and not on his garment. Tanya namihachi, and we have a braita that seems to teach the following. He says, Yotzei ha'eved b'chotem shebetzavaro, aval lo b'chotem shebeksuto. And the braita teaches specifically the same thing. On the other hand, says the Gemara, we're minhu. We have another braita that seems to contradict this. Lo yitzei ha'eved b'chotem shebetzavaro, that a servant can't go out with this seal around his neck, v'lo b'chotem shebeksuto, and not even with this seal, this item on his garment. Zeb zeh ein mekablin tuma. Also, this braita says neither are susceptible to tuma. Okay, velo bezog shebetzavaro, and not with a bell around his neck. Okay, aval but yotzehu bezog shebeksuto, but he may go out with a bell on his clothing, on his garment. Zeh v'zeh mekablim tuma. And in that case, since the bell is usually made of metal, it is susceptible to tuma. And furthermore, okay, says the braita, v'lo teitzei behema, and an animal cannot go out. Lo b'chotem shebetzavaro, not with a seal around its neck, right? V'lo b'chotem shebeksuta, and not with any kind of seal on its covering, on something that's on top of the animal. V'lo bezog shebeksuta, and not with a bell in its garment, on its covering. V'lo bezog shebetzavara, and not with a bell around its neck. Right? Right? Zeh v'zeh ein mekablim tuma. And in all of these cases, none of these is susceptible to tuma. So the Gemara says, lema. Perhaps we need to say, in regard to this braita, the avad le rabbe, that these were situations where the master made the item. He put it on the slave or on the animal, right? But in this other braita, okay, the avad ihu lenafshe, that maybe there was a situation that was possible he made it himself. No, says the Gemara. Idi v'idi the avdele rabbe. In both cases, both braitas tell us these were situations where the seal was made by his master. Bekan b'shel matechet, and in one case we're talking about something made out of metal. Bekan b'shel tit, and in another case we're talking about a seal that's made out of clay. Okay, ukeda Nachman, as was said by Rav Nachman. Okay, Amar Rabba bar Abuha, in the K, and this was also said in the name of Rabba bar Abuha. Davar hamakpid alav Rabbo ein yotzin bo, something which the servant would know that his master would be stringent about, and therefore he would have fear of his master if it was to break, and therefore the slave might carry it. Okay, he is not permitted to go out in Rishus Harabim. Davar she'ein makpid alav, but something that his master would not be strict about, yotzein bo, then he could go out with it. Hachanami mistabra, says the Gemara, and here too this seems logical. Midikatani zev v'zeh ein mekablim tuma, since our Braita said both in this kind and in this kind, okay, it's not susceptible to tuma. Right? I amrat b'shlema shel matechet. If you were going to say that we're referring to a seal made out of metal, hani hu delo mekable tuma. In this case, where we say these are not susceptible to tuma, ha kelim dido. Okay, but what about we say a situation of utensils? Okay, that are susceptible to tuma when they're metal. Mekable tuma, right? We said that they are susceptible to tuma. Ele I amrat b'sheltit, and if you're going to say that we're talking about seals made out of clay, tznan, okay, therefore it's also taught, right? Hani hu delo mekable tuma, that these are not susceptible to tuma. Ha kelim diadho mekable tuma. Do we say then that utensils made from such material are susceptible to tuma? Hatanya. But elsewhere we have another Braita that teaches the following. Clay avanim, utensils made out of stone. Clay glalim, utensils made out of solid dung. Clay adama, or utensils made out of earth. Ein mekablin tuma. They are not susceptible to tuma. Lo midivrei Torah, v'lo midivrei sofrim. Neither from the Torah nor by rabbinical law. Ela shma mina shel matechet shma mina. But rather we must derive from this that clearly we're talking about seals made out of metal. Okay, and therefore that is proof. Okay, let's go on now. Deal with a slightly different topic. Okay, remember before it said about bells, right? And remember a bell is made up of two objects, what we'll call the base of the bell and what we'll call the clapper, okay? And we're going to see that the Gemara is going to refer to these items shortly. Amar Mar, said the master, v'lo bezog shebetzavaro, that he cannot go out with a bell around his neck. Aval yotzehu bezog shebiksuto, but he may go out on Shabbat in the public domain with a bell on his garment or part of his garment. Okay, zog shebetzavaro amai lo, asks the Gemara, a bell around his neck. Why is that not permitted? Dilma mifsak, says the Gemara. Perhaps it's going to break, snap off. Va'ata le'atuye, and he's going to come to carry it. Zug shebiksoto, nami lechush, dilma mifsak va'ate le'atuye. So a bell that's part of his garment, isn't it possible again that we should suspect that perhaps it would break off and he would come to carry it? What are we dealing with then? Demecha. No, we're saying be mumcha, that it was sewn into the garment by a craftsman. Okay? Ukeda Rav Huna berei de Rav Yehoshua. And this is similar to what Rav Huna, the son of Rav Yehoshua, said. The Amar Rav Huna berei de Rav Yehoshua, kol shahu arug, whatever is clearly attached to the garment, lo gazru. The rabbis did not make such a prohibition decree. Okay, going on. Amar Mar, the master said, lo teitzei behema, lo bechotem shebetzavara, velo bechotem shebeksuta. that an animal cannot go out, either with a seal around its neck or its seal on its covering. Zeh v'zeh ein mekablin tuma. But in both cases, neither of them are susceptible to tuma. So Gemara asks, v'zog de behema ein mekablin tuma? Are we saying that a bell around the neck of an animal is not susceptible to tuma? Or minhu? But we have a braita that contradicts this and says as follows: Zog shel behema tmeya. An animal's bell is capable of becoming tameh. Okay. V'shel, let's go over. Delet tahora. Okay. But a bell that is attached to a door is considered tahora. Okay. And the reason that is because the door, okay, the bell is attached to the door. The door is part of the house. The house is connected to the ground. Anything that is connected directly to the earth, to the ground, is not makabel tuma. Okay, right? V'shel delet Torah. So the Gemara then continues. Shel delet v'asahu lebehema. Let's say it was a doorbell, okay? You know, like one of those where you open and it rings, right? Okay, and they made it and attached it to the animal. Tme'ah, then it seems to become tameh. Shel behema v'asahu ledelet. Say it was originally like a cowbell, okay? And then that was made into a hung on for the door. Af al pi shechibru ledelet, even though they attached it completely to the door, v'kavu b'masmerim, and they fixed it there with nails, tameh, it's still going to be considered tameh. Why? Shekol hakelim yordim lidei tumatan b'machshava, says the Gemara. The key principle here, that any utensil, okay, once it is considered completed, okay, by the thought of the artisan, is therefore considered a utensil and is susceptible to tuma. Ve'ein olin midei tumatan, and it does not escape, all right, or become removed from its status of tuma, ele b'shinui ma'aseh, except unless there's a physical change act done to that object. Okay? So in other words, by doing the physical change, number one, it implies that the object no longer retains its original status, its original purpose. It's no longer perhaps considered a utensil for that purpose. Okay? Velo kasha. And the Gemara says, there's no difficulty here. Why? Ha, the idle inbal. Maybe in one case it has a clapper. Ha, the lidle inbal. And in another case, it doesn't have the clapper. So the Gemara says, maybe that's enough of removing the clapper inside the bell. Maybe that's enough of a physical change to no longer allow it to be considered a usable utensil. Okay? Manavshach. But the Gemara says, hold on a second. All right? Is that really the case? I manahu, if it's considered a utensil, afal pi delayed lay inbal, wouldn't it still be considered a utensil even if it doesn't have a clapper? Ilav manahu, and if it's not a utensil, inbal masui le mana. Okay, is the clapper then considered a burden, okay, to the utensil, and therefore, okay, what is the status? If the bell is considered a vessel, okay, that's part of the problem. And yes, says the Gemara, Kiderab Shmuel Bar Nachmani, as based on what Shmuel Bar Nachmani says. Amar Rabbi Yonatan, in the name of Rabbi Yonatan. The Amar Rab Shmuel Bar Nachmani Amar Rabbi Yonatan, Minayan L'mashmiya Kol Bekli Matachot Shahu Tameh. How do we know that if you can still make a sound with a metal utensil, that it is susceptible to becoming tameh? Shene Amar. Why? Because we have a pasuk that says, Kol davar asher yavo ba'esh ta'aviru ba'esh. Okay? The pasuk in Bamidbar, by the way, that talks about Tuma and Tara, okay? Everything that may pass through fire, right? Will go through fire, right? In other words, that can render it tahor, right? Or we can say kosher, right? Afilu dibur, even in a sense, speech, sound, in other words. Yavo ba'esh, okay, can pass through fire. In other words, that does not cleanse the item, but it may make it still susceptible to tuma, because it's still an object that can produce sound even without the clapper, and therefore it's still a utensil. Not only that, but it's still a utensil possible to use for its original purpose. So the Gemara asks then a valid question, Bamai okimta. Okay, how do you interpret this then? But delete lay inbal, if you said it's lacking the clapper, ema mitziata, I would say consider the middle clause in the Braita. Velo bazog shebetzavaro, it said not with a bell around its neck. Aval yotzehu bezog shebeksuto, that it says that he may go out with a bell in the garment. V'zeh v'zeh mekablim tuma, and this one are susceptible to tuma. Idalit le'inba, if it doesn't have a clapper, mi mekable tuma, do we say then that it's susceptible to tuma? Or minhu, but I'll bring a braita that contradicts this and says as follows: Ho'ose zagim lemachteshet. Okay, one who makes bells for a mortar. Okay, you know, pestle and mortar, a mortar for crushing spices. La arisa, or he makes bells for a cradle. Okay, it may be used for the child to play with, or whatever. Ulamit pachot sfarim, or he makes bells and attach it to a Torah cover. Ulamat pechot tinokot, or he makes bells, okay, for a child's garment. Okay, yesh lehem in bal, if they have a clapper, tmein, they are susceptible to tuma. Ein lehem in bal, if they don't have a clapper, tahorin, they are tahor. Now the Braita continues, nitlu in balehem, if you removed their clapper, adayan tumatan alehem, their status of being tomei is still existent upon them. Okay? So the Gemara wants to clarify this. Hani mili betinok dilakola avidele. That's a situation. Why? Because in the case of a child, it was made for the clear purpose of making a sound. Aval gadol, but in regards to an adult, tachshitu lay, it's more of an ornament. Afal gav delit lay inbal, even though it may not have a clapper. Okay, now going on in the Gemara, right? Amarmar. Okay, so the master said to us, nitlu in balehem, if one removed the clapper, adayan tumatan alehem. Okay, their status of being tame is still applicable to them. Lamai chazu. So the Gemara is asking, so if you remove the clapper of the bell, what is it suitable for? Amar Abai, says Abai, Ho'il shahedyot yachol lahachziro. This is because a common person, okay, an unskilled person, can put it back. Meitiv Rava, and Rava challenged him. Hazug v'ha'inbal chibur. No, usually a clapper and the bell form is attached. They're strongly connected. V'chitema hachikama. And if you want to say, this is what he means to say. Afal gav delo mechaber. Even though they're not connected, kiman de mechaber dami. It's as if they are connected. Okay, they're considered as if they're connected. Vahatanya, says the Gemara. But aren't we taught elsewhere? If you're talking about things that are connected, are they both tame, both parts of tame? Let's give the following braita that questions that. Misporet shel prakim. If I have a scissors that's made up of two separate blades, v'izmal, or a shel rahitne, or a carpenter's plane that's made up of a blade and the wooden base, let's say, chibur letuma, they are considered attached in regards to being susceptible to tuma. Ve'ein chibur lahaza'ah, but they are not considered to be attached in regards to sprinkling for purification. Va'amrin and manavsha. And we say, in this case, right, what is the difference, right? Ichiburhu, if they're considered connected, afilu lahaza'ah. Shouldn't that also be for sprinkling for purification? Ve'ilo chiburhu, and if they're not considered connected, attached, afilu l'tumat nami lo, then even for being susceptible to tuma, they also shouldn't apply. Amar Rava, says Rava, Dvar Torah, says Rava, by the law of the Torah, Beshat Melacha, okay, during the time that they're in operation, at the time when they're being used, okay, Chibur Bein Letuma Bein Lahaza'ah. They are considered connected, whether for tuma purposes or for sprinkling for purification purposes. Shelo b'shat melacha, when they're not being in the process of being worked, being used. Eino chibur, they are not considered attached. Lo letuma, v'lo lahaza'ah, nor for tuma, nor for sprinkling purposes. But what happened? V'gazru al tumah. But the rabbis made a decree, okay, a preventive decision, right? And they made this decree regarding tumah, shelo b'sha'at melacha, that even not during the time when they're in operation, mishum tum'ah, okay, because of the fact of susceptibility to tumah, shehi b'sha'at melacha, when they are in the process of being used. Va'al haza'ah, and they made the gezerah, all right, in regards to sprinkling, shehi b'sha'at melacha, in the time when it is being used, mishum haza'ah, shelo b'sha'at melacha, okay, lest the situation be, okay, sprinkling when they're not in the time of being utilized, right? So we'll just go over a tiny bit. Ela Amar Rava, it says Rava, Ho'il v'ra'ui lahakisho al gabe cheres. Okay, the reason we're coming back to the bell situation is here because you can take the bell without the clapper and bang it against an earthenware utensil. Okay, and therefore it's going to make the same similar sound, okay, whether you had the clapper or whether you bang it against the earthenware vessel, and therefore it's still usable for its original purpose, and therefore that's why it remains tameh. Okay, and just to finish up today, Itmar Nami, it was also said, Amar Rabbi Yossi b'Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Yossi, his son of Rabbi Chanina, says, V'ra'ui lahakisho al gabe cheres. He also said, since it's possible to beat it against a earthenware vessel, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Yochanan says, Ho'il v'ra'ui l'gamea bo mayim latinok, since it's fit for giving a child to drink from the bell, to use it almost like a cup. So even though that's not the original purpose, since it's still usable as a vessel, as a utensil, it is still makabel tuma. Now we're going to stop there, and tomorrow we'll pick up and see there's a question about this machloket, or this explanation between Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Yochanan. Okay. Everybody have a good day today and take care.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay. There we go.